All right, we in.
Hello. Hey, so we are here for our tax class about Cash App and the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Dorcas Fulton again, and she has been with us for the past couple of weeks, and I'm forever grateful for the information that you are providing.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your engagement.
Yay!
That coming up.
Thank
One
you.
day.
Thank you.
One day I'm gonna get there. As always, to everyone, if you get anything of value from the video, if you could like it, if you could subscribe to the channel. I have a little bit over 500 subscribers, which to me is super amazing. So I'm excited for that. And leave a comment if there's something else that you would like for us to cover. If you have questions, I am going to be more intentional with checking the comments throughout the lives because I've been so used to having these, but there weren't really comments. And now that there are, I have to start triggering my brain to go over there. But Dorcas, if you can first and foremost give us a brief background on yourself, because if they would like the full details of who you are, they can check out the previous 2 videos where you went into more detail about your background and how you ended up.
All right, so my name is Dorcas Fulton, as you may be able to see on the screen. If you can't pronounce my first name, just call me D. I am the owner of Top Tier Financial and Business Solutions, and basically what we do is we simplify the lives of business owners through financial and business support services, such as tax preparation, tax strategies, business structuring, anything in the realm of financial. That's what we do.
Thank you. Thank you. So in this session, we are going to be talking about the Cash App, right?
Yes.
Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of these payment processors that had previous rules before. So if we can talk about a little bit what it was previously, and then talk about the changes that have happened effective January 1 of this year.
Okay, so what we're referring to is the 1099-K forms that are now sent to business owners. This is only about business taxes and these 1099-K forms. So the 1099-K forms are sent to business owners if, this is previously, if the business owner received, let's say, $20,000 from that one entity. So for instance, if you received $20,000 or you had 200 transactions in PayPal or in Cash App, then that one business entity would send you a 1099-K form that you would have to file on your taxes. That is the previous law. The new tax law is that if you receive $600 or more from either one of these entities, there are more from either one of these entities, then they will have to send you a 1099-K form that you will have to file on your business taxes.
Okay, now, one moment, there's an echo. Do you hear that? No? Okay. So with the 1099-K previously, and even I guess it's probably the same, if they're sending it to me, I'm supposed to complete the form, or is it already completed?
No, the 1099-K form is already completed by the business. So PayPal has already created it for you and they'll send it a completed one. Essentially, it's the same thing as a regular 1099 or 1099 NEC or 1099 miscellaneous. They're all the same things. They're just sending it to you as quote unquote independent contractors. So essentially the 1099 form is for independent contractors. So because you're utilizing their platform to receive payments, they're sending you this so that you can then file it on your on your business tax return.
Now, what happens if I don't file it?
They know.
Okay.
The federal government already knows because there's two sides to a 1099 form.
Okay.
You have the side where the business owner, the business entity, or the individual is actually filing a 1099 stating that they did send out this 1099 form. And then you have your side where you received it and you can either file it or not. Well, you're supposed to file it, but you can either file it or not. But either way, they will know that you brought in this income. I mean, they won't know as soon as you file your taxes. It's not going to pop up and say, hey, you didn't file this. But they will, if they pick up an audit on you or if they were to research your back end, then it would be triggered.
Now, if someone doesn't file it, and they're supposed to file it, and let's say an audit happens, what could be the consequences of that?
The consequences of it is more than likely a fine. You're not going to go to jail unless you do it, unless it's something that happens all of the time. But you'll more than likely be fined. You'll have to amend your tax returns and then file it on it. The best thing to do is just file it, because honestly, at the end of the day, any income that your business brings in, you're supposed to be filing regardless if you get a 1099 or not from it.
Okay. So there have been instances where, and I've seen it all over the internet right now, where individuals are saying that you can somehow collect over this $600 and get away with not claiming it.
Yes, you can. Zelle, because it's a bank-to-bank transaction type form, which I wouldn't really recommend you using as a business owner anyways. Excuse my eyes. Which I wouldn't recommend you using as a business owner anyways. Because it's a bank-to-bank type of transaction, they don't capture it. So because they don't capture it, they don't have to send you a 1099 because it's the actual bank. Yeah, because it's like essentially a wire. So you're wiring from one bank account to the next. You're transferring money from one to the next.
So for individuals that might not be familiar with Zelle, are you giving somebody your bank account information when you're doing this transfer?
No, what you would do is whenever you set up a Zelle account, they're going to ask for your phone number or email. That is how they're going to connect you from one person to the next. Then what's going to happen is you're going to search for them on either the Zelle platform or through your bank account. Once you search for them, you can find their name, and then the amount of money, you just put the amount of money in, and then you transfer it to that person.
Now, let's say somebody decides that, you know what, this is how I'm going to operate my business, because we're going to use the word business because that's essentially what we're operating. I'm just thinking that the way banks are set up, your account could potentially get flagged because of the number of transactions that are happening, and the transactions are going to be from various individuals. So couldn't that still make you then liable for this $600, even if you're trying to, I'm going to use this word, scam the IRS and not pay?
Not necessarily, because the thing about it is that they can flag it if you do a certain amount of transaction, but because it is a transfer from one person to the next, if they see multiple different individuals sending you income, then that's going to be a red flag. If they see, let's say they see 100 transactions on your bank statement, they're all from different individuals. And then on top of that, this is your business bank account. You got to remember that. So now you have to account for this income. What is this income coming from? You don't really actually have a transaction connected to it. It's only a Zelle request of money. So now you're transferring money into your bank account. That's kind of a red flag on the business end of it, because there's nothing tied to that. It's kind of like a quote unquote, like you said, a scam.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you have to take into account is what are the fees with this transaction with your bank? Because you have fees with certain transactions with certain banks. So will this be a fee? So every transaction is going to be like a $10 to $20 fee. So you got to take that into account also.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if I'm operating a business and I'm doing this whole, circle around the IRS and I'm going to use Zelle, you're probably going to have transactions where the dollar amount is the same, right? Like if you have a top seller and, once you do the cost plus taxes, it's $32.78. And now you have 100 transactions for $32.78, even with my credit card. And I could be buying different items from different vendors. If I have multiples of the same dollar amount, they place a hold on my account.
Or fraud, correct?
Yeah. So couldn't that be something as well, that if you're trying to do this, that they would flag it and think, wait a minute, right? Because I would think that most banks, and I don't know where else they would possibly, circumvent the system, but let's just stay with the banks. They probably have training at this point. It probably was meetings at the round table about this new law that's going to pass and some of the ways that individuals are going to try to get around not having to pay taxes on earned income.
Honestly, I really wouldn't know as far as what may happen with the banks. Because every bank is completely different. Some banks, like I know BB&T, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo, they're really good at flagging accounts. Right. They're really good at, if you have like a consistent amount of transactions that are the same, or a consistent amount of transactions that are different, that are coming from all different types of places, where you're spending out money, they may flag it because it's like, oh, hold up, this is not your normal type of transactions. But if it's incoming money, I'm not sure if they'll actually flag it per se, because it's money coming in to where nobody is actually trying to like pull money out.
Okay. Now, I found a comment, but I'm going to need a couple of seconds to read it because it's a lengthy one. So I'm going to read it to myself and then I'm going to summarize what is here. Okay.
Ooh, it is a long one.
It is. Yeah. Okay. So in summary, so every time this individual, so the screen name is Bad Bunny, and every time I get money on my Cash App, they have been charging me every time money is deposited, and they take $2 away. Essentially, what they're trying to figure out is they're supposed to get a form, and they're saying that they haven't received the form, and that don't they have approximately 3 to 5 years to file taxes. And certain platforms only allow so many transactions. And they're going to write it off as donating to this person. So the first part, I'm going to make an assumption. I know with all of these platforms like Cash App, maybe Venmo, I'll only use Cash App and PayPal. The rest of the stuff is foreign to me. If you select you want your money right away, they take a fee. If you allow the money to get to your account whenever it gets to your account, they don't take a fee. So whenever somebody sends me Cash App, which is very infrequently, whenever they tell me they're going to deposit, if it's going to be Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, I really don't care, because I'm a firm believer in I want all my money in my pocket.
Yep.
So I'm not going to pay them $2 or $3 or whatever it is to get my money right away. So that could possibly be why they are taking those additional funds, but I'm not for certain.
Mm-hmm.
And the individual stated that they do have a business account set up as their Cash App, and my Cash App is personal and not business. So that part, I don't know. Maybe it's a transaction fee.
It is.
The second part of their question, so you'll get all this. The second part
is, let me write this down. Okay.
And then the second part is they are supposed to get a document from the IRS, which I'm going to guess is the 1099-K. And they have not received this document. How long do they have to file their taxes? Their understanding is they have 3 to 5 years to file their taxes. That's the gist of.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So yes, Cash App. Whenever you have a business account with Cash App, they do have transaction fees, just like with every other credit card processor. Okay. There is no way to circumvent that. They automatically take it. Whether you're sending it as a owner's investment or not, any transaction that goes into your Cash App, there is a transaction fee for it. I want to say it's like 2.35%, just like most of the other platforms. So there's no way to circumvent that. Okay. As far as a document from the IRS, I'm not sure what you are referring to, because usually no documents come from the IRS. You can pull your tax transcript if you're looking for certain things for certain years. But if you're actually looking for the document for Cash App, then Cash App actually has up until the 31st of this month to send you your 1099-K form. And that's with any other platform. 1099s and W-2s do not have to be sent to the employee, to the independent contractor until the 31st of this month. So it can be actually sent on that date, and it'll just get to you when it gets to you within like a 2-week period. If it doesn't, then contact the company back and tell them that, hey, I never received my W-2, I never received my 1099. And usually they'll just resubmit you another one. I'm not sure what you're referring to as far as the IRS sending you a document though. Yes, you have 3 to 5 years to file, but please remember that every single year that you wait, you will be penalized for it. And that is the penalty for if you have taxes that are due. Okay. So keep that in mind. If you have all of your documents, you can file for an extension. When you do file for an extension, that gives you up until October the 15th to file your taxes. So remember that, but you still also have to pay the amount of taxes that you expect to owe at that time that you file for an extension. I believe that answers all of your questions as far as the 3 to 5 years to file taxes. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's clarify what you just mentioned as far as the taxes. Mm-hmm. Is it, well, the 3 to 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. You said, if you owe taxes, you need to pay. What if you don't owe taxes and you're expecting a refund?
If you're expecting a refund, then you need to file within the 3 to 5 years. Okay. That penalty will be taken from your refund that is expected, though. Okay. So you'll still get a penalty because you haven't filed. So even though you don't owe taxes, there's 2 different types of penalties. There's a late filing penalty and there's a late pay penalty. So you'll circumvent the late pay penalty because you don't owe anything, but you will owe for not filing. Okay. But if I file for an extension, I don't get a penalty, do I, if I don't owe taxes? You don't get a penalty if you don't owe taxes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just want to make sure we get that because, some people might be getting a refund and then they're like, let me just wait a little bit because, it's going to be a bottleneck anyways, and you might actually get it back quicker if you wait. Flood the system with everyone else, especially if you don't owe any taxes. Exactly. Okay, so back to the Cash App. Mm-hmm. What are some instances where legitimately you can get over $600 and then not have to pay the taxes? None. Well, not from the business end though.
right?
Okay, so from the
just period.
personal, yeah, from the business end, whatever money that you bring in, you need to file, regardless if it's $20, $30, $40, whatever income you bring in, you need to file. And there's reasons for filing all of your income, such as business loans, business credit, purchases that you want to make. Whenever you're trying to scale your business, you want to make sure that you account for all of the income, all of the revenue that you have brought in, because this is what's going to make or break you moving forward in your business and making sure that you have a sustainable business. On the personal end, you don't have to worry about a 1099-K form or anything like that, because it's a personal account. Now, say for instance, let me think of something. So say for instance, you hired your sister. Let's just say this. You hired your sister to watch your kids, right? You just cash apped her the money. Okay, even though you cash apped her the money, you can still account this for like a dependent care expense. You wouldn't necessarily send her a 1099-K form or anything. She wouldn't receive a 1099-K form, but she would have to account for it on her end, not necessarily as a business, but for other income that she brought in. And that would be for child care or taking care of a child. So on your end, you could file it on your taxes for dependent care. And then on her end, she would file it as additional income on her taxes.
Okay. Now, what happens if an individual has their account set up as a personal account and they're transacting business? How is it getting triggered, the $600?
It wouldn't be triggered because it's a personal account.
So if
they set up their Cash App as a personal account, because it's a personal account and not a business account, Cash App is not actually looking through personal accounts to see. They're not going through each individual to see, is this a business transaction? Is this a business transaction? If it's a business account, then they're actually looking at how much you actually brought in. I'm pretty sure they have some kind of algorithm in the back end. I'm not positive. Some kind of algorithm in the back end to start flagging accounts now and say, hey, this is a business transaction, or you brought in X amount of money here. What was this for? Like sometimes I know if you have a newer account or you have a strange amount of money, let's say like $5,000 that was sent to you, then they may flag it and be like, hold up, wait a minute. Where is money coming from? What type of transaction is this? Or they may not even let you receive it. So I'm pretty sure they're creating an algorithm in their back end to start triggering these accounts.
Okay, yeah, because I've definitely heard stories of individuals who either got, I'm going to say, banned from Cash App, couldn't use Cash App because they had so many suspicious, Cash App's purview, suspicious transactions that were happening. This is just a side note because I've read an article that, PayPal, who was freezing accounts, unfortunately, there's a class action that is happening right now. So those are things to think about. And you touched on a good point, and I want to go back to it and lift that up, is that, yes, it sucks that you're going to have to report all your money. Again, as we've said in the previous videos, for whatever reason, we are trained to not want to owe taxes. We are trained to essentially want our small business to stay a small business, as far as the money that we're letting people know that we're making. And what that does is it hinders your business. And again, the PPP money, most businesses who couldn't get it because their documentation showed that they had no money coming in or they were doing cash. I'm aware of a business that was making well over 6 figures per year. Business got shut down because of COVID. Individual operated the business as a cash only business, attempted to go and get some of the PPP money, but had no financial documents to show that this individual, in fact, was losing now 6 figures per year. And that could essentially send your home into foreclosure because you don't have access to money. And this was your livelihood. You don't have an employer. you're your own business. So definitely think about that. Think about your vision for your company. Where do you want it to go? Where do you want it to grow? Do you want to be $1 million company? Or do you want to keep putting on your taxes that you're a $2,000 company so you can get a refund, or whatever the reason is that you're doing that? But that's not the best way to operate your business if you're trying to get to $1 million.
Exactly.
That's $1 million.
Same here. Same here. I'm trying to get to the 7-figure club, but you are absolutely right. You can't. It's really a mindset thing. Like we talk about the financial portion of it, but you also have to have that mindset change to where you want your business to grow. And once your mindset changes, then in turn, everything else will follow. Because now you're in the mindset of, oh, I need 6 figures, I need 7 figures. Now your mindset has to change from, oh, I'm getting a refund to, dang, I'm about to owe some taxes. But whenever you're about to owe this taxes, you also have the tax plan throughout the year. So now that has triggered in itself. So now I'm gonna pay my quarterly taxes. I'm gonna invest my funds. I'm gonna purchase equipment that are assets. I'm gonna add on to educational training. I'm gonna add on employees that I can create tax credits for. So now throughout the year, you're creating these tax credits and these tax deductions for your business so that you don't owe this large lump sum at the end of the year. And so that you either break even or you owe just a little small amount, but you still have 6 figures in your pocket. So it doesn't really hurt you. So it's really a mindset shifting to where you want your business to grow. You don't just want to focus on, oh, I'm getting a tax refund, I'm getting a refund, I'm getting a refund. Because at the end of the day, that's just really money that we already put into the government anyway. So
yes. There's one comment. It's a comment, it's not a question.
Okay.
From Harry, essentially just thanking us for what we're doing. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And then Harrison, I'm not too sure about the question. So if you can clarify your question and resubmit it in the chat, I will definitely come back and look at it, and then we'll answer it once we get towards the end. So back to Cash App. So I'm stuck on this, setting it up as a personal account and then somehow not reporting. Because I get if I have a personal account and it is truly for non-business related things. Right? What could happen? Is it the same thing where, fines could happen if your account is flagged, an investigation is done, and it comes out that you should have had a business account versus this person?
It really just depends on the back end of Cash App.
Okay.
And the type of services that you're providing. So if you're, like you were saying earlier, if you get like these $32.78 transactions and you get them over and over and over again in your personal Cash App will more than likely flag you like, wait a minute, what is this? This is the same amount. And you've got like 50 transactions for this. So let's do a little bit of research on this. And they may send you a notice saying, hey, please inform us of what kind of activity you're doing with this account. Okay. Or they may just close your account for suspicious activity because, really, Cash App don't call nobody. So
that's what I heard.
That's the scary.
Your money is frozen.
Exactly. That's the scary thing about doing business in Cash App or personal in Cash App, because it's hard to actually get in contact with anyone with Cash App. But as far as the transactions go, depending on what you're doing for other people, you also have to remember these people are also writing these things off. So the purchases that they're making, they could be writing off your services. So say, for instance, if they, my business, for instance, if I charge you $1,000 for a service, this is something that you can then, write off on your taxes as a professional service that that I provided to you. So
Right.
now it's like, and then you need documentation for it. This is your receipt. So now it's like, okay, so I sent this lady $1,000 for a personal cash app. So then in turn, if I were to be audited, I'm missing out on $1,000 on my tax return.
Right.
So it's really kind of like everything is connected essentially. So whatever services that you provide to someone, depending on the amount of it,
Yeah.
if in turn that person or you were to be audited, it would kind of red flag both sides and be like, hey, so you didn't do this. So it's kind of like a trickle down effect to where if something happens to this person, then it could happen to this person, it could happen to this person.
Okay. And then another thing I've been seeing is PayPal, you can do, you know, let's send it friends and family. And then that way there's no fee associated with the transaction. And it's not going to count towards, you know, the $600.
I feel like PayPal is cracking down more on that. For one, like you were saying earlier, they do have a class action suit out right now. Yeah. Well, they potential class action suit out right now. But I feel like PayPal is cracking down on the functions and the finances of it, on how people are sending money, just trying to make sure that no one is trying to circumvent the system. So I do feel like a lot of things are going to start coming into place since this new act came into place, since this new law came into place. So I would be very wary of doing certain things, because you also have to understand in the back end of your business, you also have to keep proper bookkeeping records for your business. So if you're doing all of this stuff trying to circumvent the system, you're losing out on how you actually keep track of your finances, of your income, of your expenses, because although you can't plug it in, it's going to take additional steps to do so in your bookkeeping software.
And then another thing, when you're doing friends and family, you can't file a dispute.
No.
So if you send money, friends and family to someone and it's $500 and they don't ship the product,
that's on you.
That's on you, right? And even before this, people should be more cautious when sending money to strangers.
Exactly.
Via Cash App, PayPal, and these different platforms, because it is very difficult to get your money back.
Yes, it is.
For myself, if I'm going to do a transaction with a business, I want to be able to, number one, use my credit card, because if it's a problem, my credit card will take care of me expeditiously. Okay? That's what they do. I am not going to send $200-300 via Cash App to a stranger. Now
I ain't sending 50.
Nothing. Now if I'm at your establishment, like, you know, I got my eyebrows done or something like that, sure. Send it through Cash App. I got the service. I can see that I got the service and now I'm going to pay for it. But I see too many people, for whatever reason, society has gotten very comfortable with paying strangers via Cash App and then posting all over Facebook that they got scammed.
Yep.
Both you and this business owner probably had a conversation about what they were doing. I mean, I know a young lady that used to only take Cash App, and she was selling wigs for $500-600 because she said she's not paying taxes to the IRS. And if you were to pick it up, you're going to have to pay her cash. I didn't participate in the foolery. However, but if there was a problem, there's nothing that you can do. So we have to get back uncomfortable with just giving our money to people, as well as trying to, scams just don't work. I mean, eventually you get caught. Yeah. Eventually you get the short end of the stick. You know, you might get one up, but it's clear, as I said in the last video, the IRS sat down, whoever's at the round table, and said, we're losing a lot of money. So what can we do to capture all of these taxes, which is probably billions of dollars
it is,
that they're losing, And it probably, put the fire to them because so many entrepreneurs popped up because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So they got all this money that they're giving out, for COVID.
Yep.
Stimulus after stimulus after stimulus. But now we got all these entrepreneurs and, we got people turning into millionaires.
Yep. Overnight.
Wait a minute. The number of millionaires that we're seeing floating around is not aligned with the amount of taxes that we're getting right now.
Exactly.
So I believe, and I'm not the IRS, but I honestly believe that mentality of I'm just a small fish and they're not going to be concerned, they're going to be looking for the big dogs.
Is that true?
If they collectively come after the small fish, they're going to get way more than they would get
from the big dogs. Yeah. Because you got to remember the big dogs. And what you're saying, I feel like is completely true. It's very accurate because there is a reason that they changed these tax laws.
Yes.
They see all of the activity that is going on. They see all of the funds that are coming in. It's not like, oh my goodness, let's just do this and see what happens. They have literally strategically thought this out to put it in place effective January 1st, for one, because of the PPP loan, because of the EIDL loan, because of all of this, all of the disaster relief that was going on, where people were constantly sending in loan applications for this and for that and for this. And they're seeing, okay, so this person made $1 million, but I ain't see this on their taxes. This person made 5 figures, 6 figures, but for the past few years, they've been getting tax refunds. How does this happen? So they see all of the little fish eating a lot. That's basically what they're seeing. They're seeing all of these little fish eat so much money up. And now it's like, okay, so we're going to capture all of this now. So now, instead of going after the big fish, because you got to remember the big fish, they have attorneys, they have accountants, they have CPAs, they have all of the people that the small fish don't really think about. They have all of these people that can work out their numbers, that can work out their systems, that can actually show them or represent them, so that they don't have to worry about the back end, or they don't have to worry about, okay, so I'm going to jail for this, I'm going to jail for that. Now they have people on there.
Everybody going to jail with Miss Folks in here.
Exactly. Now they have people on their side that can account for every single thing that they have done. I ain't gonna name no names, but think about it.
Yeah.
Like, you see, this man we ain't seen a tax return in what? That's all I'm gonna say. But and that's not to get political, but that's just a big fish that I was just thinking about. But you have all of these people. Why do you think they only owe? They're 6 and 7 figure companies. Why do you think they only owe $50,000?
Right.
Why do you think they only owe $30,000, $20,000? They tax plan. They have attorneys, they have CPAs that work on these things behind the scenes so that they don't have to worry about it. So now they ain't worried about the big fish because they know that the big fish can handle theirs. Now they're trying to come after the small fish so that they can actually account for all of the funds that are coming in.
Now, you just made a good point that I didn't even think about.
What?
When you were just talking about, all of the PPP applications, like granted, I was thinking about, what's being distributed to the American citizens. I wasn't thinking about how they're viewing these applications that you're claiming. I have a 6-figure loss or a $5 million loss. And then they look at your previous revenue and you were $2,000 is all I've made. And now you have the proper documentation to show that my company was really making more money. So you have
from a fraudulent schedule.
Yes. So, and again, that's why I say you have to be a forward thinker when you're operating your business. Now, granted, we probably, hopefully, don't see another pandemic in my lifetime. But that is something that could potentially happen like 10 years from now again. And I think as a business owner, just opening your eyes to the fact that this $600 IRS ruling It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
It really isn't. It's people are getting frustrated and upset and, I shouldn't have to pay this, or why do I need to report? It's only $600. When you're sitting in front of a lending institution and you're trying to get a loan, even if it's for $5,000 for your business,
That's
being able to show that you
$600.
had over $600 and you pay taxes on it, that will be beneficial when they're looking at your Schedule C to determine if you can get this loan.
Exactly.
Or even with grants, because I post a lot of grants. With grants, that's something to think about too. Now, most of the grants that I've posted to date have not asked for your financials. However, a grant that I received as a result of COVID, that was the first thing that they requested of me was my financials. And I literally sent over my financials, and the next day, my bank account was funded with a grant that I didn't have to pay back. But it's because I was honest on what I was making, and I was paying taxes. I was very upset with the amount of money I had to pay, but I was happy that I had made money too.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win. And as Dorcas has said, just tax planning, right? You have all this money coming in, and if you know that you're a business that makes over $600, figure out what your tax bracket is, figure out what you're likely going to have to pay, and just start, putting that in
money
a
to the
bank
side
account every month. So then by the end of the year, you're not even going to be stressing, because every time you get money in, if you get a $50 transaction, take $5 or $10, whatever you should, and put it into that separate bank account off of every transaction. No big deal at the end of the year.
Nope. And that's the whole concept of tax planning, because tax season should not be a stressful season for you. It should be a stressful season for your CPA or for your accountant or your tax professional, but not for you. Not for you. And then on top of that, to kind of like piggyback off of what you were saying, the $600 makes a huge difference in whenever you're getting a loan or whenever you're applying for financial backing or for funding. And then like the PPP loans, they were government funded. So you have to think about it. Okay, so where all these businesses come from? Like when did this happen? For them to run out of funds, how many times? 3 times?
Yes.
Back to back to back?
Yes.
How did this happen? Where did these businesses come from? Where did all of these, let me rephrase that, profitable businesses come from? And so it's like, okay, so what can we do to set the record straight? So this is where it came from. But in essence, you need to file all of your income or your tax return, regardless if you get a 1099 from it or not.
And then aside from, some of the large companies that were eligible under the guidelines, getting some of the PPP money, there's a large group of business owners who were eligible, but their finances weren't in order. So you were submitting your application and you're attempting to backtrack your Schedule C's, filing taxes that you hadn't filed, trying to piecemeal together your P&L statement. And by the time the bank, who's probably reaching out because they're getting a percentage, so they want you to get money because they so they're reaching out to you constantly. Okay, Mr. Smith, we need your taxes. We need your taxes. We need this. That's the final step. By the time you find an accountant, and accountants and CPAs are probably flooded with new business to help them, right? So by the time you find somebody that's available, get your stuff in order, then submit it, money is gone. So that's another thing. That's why we say just stay prepared. This is the cost of being a boss. Having your own business and operating your business and getting to $1 million, So this little $600, this ain't gonna mean nothing, right? Because you're gonna be a millionaire. So pay them their little coins now. Exactly. And then you're gonna have a whole team that when you get your $1 million, you won't even have to worry.
Exactly. They're gonna handle it all. They're gonna handle it all.
Yes. I want to make sure that there aren't any more comments, and there are not, hopefully. I'm sure I'm looking at this correctly. So I'm going to summarize and then you tell me if I missed something.
Okay.
Okay. So what I gathered from the $600 rule, one, business account. So it attaches to a business account that's over $600.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a personal account, it wouldn't attach. However, there could be flags that will then have further investigation happen.
Yep.
If you try to use Zelle or anything like that, potentially, again, there could be another flag that happens, and you could probably lose your bank account. Don't do friends and family for business, because what can happen from there is that you can't file disputes.
Yeah.
Only, if it's truly, a friend or family, or it's a non-business related expense, like splitting a check for dinner,
yep,
or things like that. And I think that's what I got.
File all your money.
Okay, that part too. Make sure you're
your money
on your taxes. Are there other things that individuals should consider? Because like we said at the beginning, there was definitely a huge uproar about having to now pay taxes if it's over $600.
Please don't be in an uproar, because this is something that has been technically it's been into effect since the beginning of time. I mean, you're supposed to account for all of your income. That is technically the tax law. You need to account for all income that was brought in, whether it was $20, $30, $40, $50, $600, $1,000, $1 million. All of these funds that are brought in for your business need to be accounted for and need to be filed on your tax return. There's nothing new with that. The only new thing is that now the platform that you are using to bring in this income, if it's $600 or more, they have to send you a 1099-K. That's the only difference. Had they not sent you a 1099-K, you would still need to file it on your tax return. The only difference is that now they're sending you a 1099-K, and now they have to report anything over $600. That's the only difference.
Thank you, guys. So essentially, regardless if they would have told you to file it or not, you should have been filing it. So this shouldn't be a surprise. This should just be, I was already doing it.
Exactly.
All right. So next week, we are going to be discussing W-2 versus independent contractor. We're going to talk about it, what it looks like with your taxes, and then legally, what the differences are and how that can affect your business.
Yay.
Our final session. So we are going to have a bonus session. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about the trucking industry. So we're going to talk about taxes for truckers, and then maybe some basic information about operating a trucking business. Potentially go parse that out offline. Of course, this Friday is going to be another grant. Yeah. So tune in for that. As always, if you got anything out of this video, like it, subscribe, comment. If you've looked at any of my other videos, I respond to all of the comments. Hopefully one day, well, not even hopefully, one day, I'm going to have too many subscribers and comments to respond to all of them. So I feel like I'm going to do it all right now because I do have the time. So thank you all for your comments. Thank you, Dorcas. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Information was beneficial. Did you give your information at the beginning, like your Instagram and all of that?
Didn't, but you can find me on all social media platforms at Top Tier FBS. That's TOPTIER. F is in Frank, B is in boy, S is in Sam. You can reach out to me to schedule a consultation at toptierfbs.com. Just click on the schedule a consultation link at the very top and book your appointment, book the date and time that best fits you. But all platforms, Top Tier FBS. If you want to search me, just put in hashtag Top Tier FBS and you can find all of my stuff.
And are consultations still free?
Consultations are free until April the 15th.
April.
April
Oh, your
15th.
notary course.
Yes, I
Special.
do. I had a loan signing agency course. It was phenomenal. Everyone got a lot of information out of it. I'm the person that gives more than I'm supposed to give. So I do have another one coming up on February the 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now it's actually on sale. Normally, general admission is $29.99. Now it's $20.99 for my 30th birthday. I'm doing 30% off of the courses. And you could also do a VIP access, which also gives you a 2-month one-on-one mentorship with me for $99.99. And of course, that's at 30% off now too, so around $69. But you can purchase the courses on my website. Just go to the events page and just purchase it there. There is limited seating because I don't like to, well, let me not say it like that. I like to be able to talk to everyone. So I don't want to see like 100 and some people on there and I'm not able to answer everyone's questions. But I'm very informative. I've been in the game for about 3 years now. I've been a loan signing agent, a notary public. I'm also a realtor. So I literally do this.
All that. And happy 30th birthday as well.
Keep forgetting I'm 30, girl.
Yeah, like 30th.
Thank you.
Husband coming.
Yeah.
Wife that is coming. All those good things.
I'm excited. I am excited.
Thank you all for watching and spending the evening with us. And if you're watching it afterwards, thank you for watching it afterwards as well. And until next time, see you all later. Enjoy your evening.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.